2024 SEIU Union 2015. Today, Yo Soy Media Inc. is bringing actual testimonials from the president of SEIU 2015, Fresno, California. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Martha Valladares, and I'm the Region Vice President
for the SEIU?
For SEIU 2015.
Okay. How long have you been involved with this?
You know, I've been involved since before it was formed. It was formed in 2015. We were with UHW, that was the hospitals. And I didn't know about this program. I know I could have gotten help for my daughter 6 years before I found out about this program because I thought they went by income, and they don't. My daughter Crystal was born with Down syndrome, and I gotta tell you that I took it really bad. You know, I cried and cried, and then I realized, you know, God's not gonna give you something you can't handle. But then after finding out about this union, how so many people were struggling, we're not getting the hours that they should get. It's all has to do with the county and the social worker, and we have to like beg, keep going to the board of supervisors, like we're practically begging them to, you know, to help us. You know what? I don't know how many millions of dollars they gave to the Bulldogs, not the Fresno State Bulldogs, you know. It was, or the gang members. It was the real Bulldogs, us humans, you know. And even when we're, you know, trying to talk to them about what we have to go through, you know, they seem not to put attention to us. But when the election time comes, oh, they're out here, like Sal Quintero is out here asking us for a vote. We helped him, but now he didn't help us any. You know what it took for us to get a raise after 9 years? It took me, Dolores Huerta, and our president to get arrested. That's what it took. Right there and then, the one that was the head of the county for in-home support service for the care providers, Delfino, comes running in between me and Dolores Huerta saying that he wanted to help, you know, work with us. We were already handcuffed when he wanted to work with us. So now we're still doing the same thing. We're going back to the board of supervisors, it's just ignoring us. And so, you know, if it takes for me to get arrested again, I'm gonna do that. And that's what I do it for my daughter. I fight so hard because I'm doing it for the future of my daughter. So when I'm gone, I want to make sure who's ever taking care of her is going to get what they deserve. Right now, the county, I'm in the negotiating department. They came back to us asking, you know, they think we're a bunch of dummies. A lot of us, you know, I was a letter carrier for 35 years. When I retired in 2006, I was getting $20 an hour. Right now, we're getting $16.60 an hour. That is not enough. They're coming with us and they're talking to us like, who do they think we are? I mean, it's just like, why do they treat us like that? It shouldn't be like that. It just makes you so mad. You know what? But I have to watch my manners, okay? They came back. They think we're different. Hey, we found it. They want to take Kaiser away from us. If you get 80 hours, you qualify for Kaiser. It is only $18 a month. They come with us and they say, hey, we'll have a deal with you. You can all go on Medi-Cal and it'll be free. No, it's not true. They go by your income. Some of them looked into it and they were going to pay $500 a month. What is wrong with them? And we said,
so let me ask.
On Medi-Cal. You know, they thought we're bunch of different. Hey, Kaiser's so much better. $18 a month. Where are you going to get a good insurance for $18 a month? And we said no deal, and they kind of got mad with us. They wanted to give us a couple of cents more if we would, you know, agree with them.
Okay.
22,000 care providers.
Okay. Those
to the disabled, the elderly, and their loved ones.
And debrief on the nursing homes and what you do.
So my name's Monica Duarte. I'm an organizer with SEIU Local 2015. I've been here for 5 years now, since 2019. Prior to that, I did two or 3 years with IHSS, and then I moved into the nursing home sector. So it was a difficult transition because my transition was right in the middle of the pandemic, when I had to service my members and represent them. So a lot of the issues we were having is the nursing home facilities weren't providing the adequate PPE protective gear for these folks that were going into the red zones, which were the patients that were very ill with COVID.
How?
So they actually would acquire it from state. They would have to request it from the state because the way we're funded, nursing homes are funded by Medicaid and Medi-Cal. So they're also like private agencies. So for them to be able to get the aid, they had to request it themselves through those measures. We didn't get it directly. IHS says though we were able to get some from them, but that worked very differently. And even then, there was a shortage in sizes of like, because for nursing homes, you had to get fitted to make sure that it actually didn't create no gaps around the mouthpiece. And so that was also causing a lot of the delays because there was, again, limits on the sizes. There was always the bigger sizes, but not enough for the smaller. And just to put in perspective, most of the nursing home industry is female driven. So when you're having disproportionate sizes in the equipment, it's not fitting them. And then also same with the gloves and the aprons, that wasn't being provided to them in a timely manner. So we had to kind of also tell them, hey, like you either need to provide that or they're not going to be able to step in these areas to provide the care that they need. Because you're also endangering the lives of the workers. And it's a lose-lose situation. Not only are you using patients, but you're losing workers while you're at it, and they're going back home and infecting other people. Little ones, yep.
Yeah.
The administrative aspect and all of that, I'm not too familiar with, right? Because my job is formally just to represent the workers and endorse the contract that we have and the laws that are put on by the state agencies, Cal OSHA, the UPSMN. So they are up to requirements, but anything that's really relevant or pertinent to the resident themselves, I don't have too much info because a lot of the time is they claim it's HIPAA violation. So they don't share that information with us. We only are able to acquire the information of the workers and members. It depends on contract by contract and employer, right? Or you can say how we also call them companies. Some companies have more diverse benefits than others just because of how big they may be, versus others that we call mom and pop, which are just owned by one person. It's not a big corporation across the state or the nation. Those sometimes have smaller benefit packages. So for example, one of our biggest is Providence, right? And so they are somewhat generous with their employees in the aspect that when COVID was happening, they were giving a differential for those that were working in high risk areas. And for those that weren't doing it, we were pushing for them to also do it because it wasn't fair for them to be going and endangering their lives. They were at the forefront being essential workers, but they weren't compensated for it. So then we had to be actively going in there and talking to members, also putting our health at risk while trying to service our members at the same time. And so some of us that did end up getting sick, I believe, to not be too much involved with the nursing homes. The only support we ever get is from assembly member like Arambula. We've had also city council member Nelson come out during the pandemic for the reason because we were in the middle of negotiations and they weren't willing to budge on the wages and also the health insurance. They were the only ones that came out and supported us directly as a letter of support to say, hey, the community is seeing what you're doing to the residents here in Fresno County and we do not approve of this. But from Fresno County, we have not received any support or any letter of support in any way to their constituents. And so even then, post-pandemic, it's a big red flag too, right? Because
Did you have
a staffing crisis in a lot of these facilities because the inequities and the lack of benefits in some of these facilities and under under appreciation of the workers really highlighted that, pandemic highlighted that. And so workers are now seeing what their worth and their value is, but the industry is not keeping up with them.
So out of those 22,000 workers, how many of those are women with children?
So I would
75, 90,
I'd say probably a little more than that.
90,
95.
90?
Yeah.
Can you get
District 2, what's the brand now? We've never received any type of support or solidarity from this board of supervisor to address any of the crises in the nursing home industry or hold accountable the standards of Cal OSHA when we were having PPE crisis there. And I also have another facility in, I want to say, District 3, which is South Quintero. South Quintero has in the past been supportive of our nursing homes, but our IHSS, but not nursing home. Like he has never meddled in any of the businesses with nursing home. And I believe we have also one in District 1 with Brian Pacheco. I don't know if they just don't understand or they're oblivious as to the nursing home industry, but again, we never received any support from them. And we have one in Kingsburg up here, which is District 4. Buddy Mendez, like we like to say, and Martha is notorious for it, Buddy's not our buddy. He has never supported in neither IHSS nor nursing home, has never been a fund of us. And I believe he's one of the very few that thinks people should be taking care of family members for free.
Okay. So, can you give me an idea of what this comment that Gavin Newsom made about a week ago, that the migrant workers, the migrant individuals that IHSS is caring for will no longer be funded? Do you have any idea what that meant exactly?
Yeah, fine. They're told fine.
Right.
And they know that the Hispanics is going to be have the most population here in California.
Right.
And this is what they're afraid of. Why are they targeting us? If there's every year people come from different countries and staying here, why are they only targeting them?
Right.
You know, shame on them.
Right. Okay. So, how do you feel this can be resolved for a longer period of time rather than having to go through these talks so often?
You know, because they changed governors so many times and everybody has to live. Okay, I was a letter carrier for 35 years. I got breast cancer twice and it was chemical. So all these immigrants coming, they're gonna live in the poorest side of town where the chemicals are strong. And this is where I got it. I would go in the morning to go deliver the mail and the chemicals were so strong sometimes I would throw up.
What part of
It was on the
town?
west side of town. It was on the west side of town.
Oh, West Fresno?
West Fresno. And the chemicals, the smell was so strong sometimes I would throw up. And I couldn't wait till I get enough seniority to leave that. See, if you're real low seniority, you're gonna get the bad side of town. And so that's what happened. So I got breast cancer twice and it was environment. And it was because of the chemicals. And this is what's happening. It's gonna happen to all.
Yes, that's absolutely right.
I think just to add to that, right, you asked what is the potential solution to the problem of providing healthcare and access to these immigrants to the program to continue to get funded. I think the answer really relies, and it's one of our values and agendas that we're trying to strive for, is one, we want to make sure that everyone is aware that there's unions for all. right? Because unions are the ones that are pushing the work and mobilizing the people here in California, but not also in California, across the state, right? So we can ensure that there is an immigration reform that will be the solution, because until there is immigration reform, we will continue to run into politicians, like Martha was saying, that come and go and pick and choose who gets these benefits. If we make that change at a legislative federal level, then no one would be targeted, such as either here or in Florida, right? Workers, migrants, like you're describing them, they're workers. They're here to work, they're not beggars. They have contributed to the foundation since the beginning of the foundation of the United States to be who we are. And so to kind of just displace them and dismay them and take away resources that they've actually contributed, because a lot of these folks, what people don't know is for them to be able to eventually get status, a lot of these people pay taxes.
Yes.
And they're paying taxes without representation is ironic. So for us in SEIU Local 2015, we are working towards immigration reform, and that is done through the political work and activism of our members, political engagement, choosing and being informed of who we put in office, and if we don't like who's there, then we replace them with potentially even asking our members to run for office,
yes.
right? So it's still a long battle, but as it will continue to move forward the work, like you said, with consciousness, education, and how we get everybody involved. Because if we, right now, they're just othering the migrant worker without highlighting the work that they also have done to keep this economy running. Because if it weren't for them, they were at the end of the day, essential workers too. They didn't have access to healthcare. They were out there still working, getting sick, being at the front lines, whether it be the service, food industry, truck drivers, farm workers. A lot of our board of supervisors are farmers,
And they
right?
have
Like
immigration
Buddy,
workers,
Mendez, Brian Pacheco,
all of them.
have ranches or farms which they benefit from migrant workers.
Yes, that's true.
So to try to say that to other or try to disregard the work that they were able to reap from them and make themselves rich or be where they're at would be to turn a blind side, and it's not okay. Yeah. And so to be honest, you look back at their history too, you see Mendez is Portuguese. Portuguese were not natives to these lands. So to say that an immigrant worker is not valued or shouldn't have access to healthcare is ironic. We believe that that is a human right, that anyone should have access to healthcare, and to be able to migrate. Because these people migrated because the U.S. was responsible for a turmoil in their nations and disrupting their political system, which has forced them to flee their native countries and come here for refugee, right? And so again, they're here to uphold, and so to uphold, they are here to contribute, not to take.
Now I'm a recipient.
And what do you think of this program?
I think it's extraordinary.
Why?
Why? Because it provides very useful services to people like me. I have an equitable agreement with us,
Which would be?
which would be a livable wage contract, as well as healthcare benefits.
I remember the 60s.
Okay.
Healthcare benefits are a fundamental human right, should not be treated as a political issue. And the San Joaquin Valley, or in Fresno County, needs some kind of livable wage contract